Russia. When I first started preparing for this episode, I was really excited. I was expecting to learn how Russia was actually a very welcoming place. I was fully expecting to be able to say we shouldn't always jump on the bandwagon, or we shouldn't always buy into what big media is telling us. This was going to be a feel-good episode, like many of the others that we've done. You, the viewer, would walk away thinking, maybe Russia would be a cool place to go to, or maybe there are opportunities in Russia. I was naive. So very naive. Let me introduce you to Igor. Igor is a Canadian citizen, an expat. He was born in Russia and moved to Canada in 2002. He eventually applied for and was granted full Canadian citizenship, but then, due to family issues, he had to move back to Russia in 2008. For all intents and purposes, Igor is indeed a Canadian expat. He says so himself.
Canada was a country of my free choice. And I am greatly grateful to Canada for giving me an opportunity to set up myself there. And it may sound funny, but I'm absolutely honest. I am speaking from the bottom of my heart that I feel Canada much more home than Russia, despite I was born in Russia. And in that term, I actually feel myself an expat, a Canadian expat here in Russia.
Igor is not our typical guest, but is anyone really typical? After all, virtually all of our ancestors were expats from some other region. Even Canada's Indigenous people at some point can trace their roots to ancestors crossing the Bering Strait. But maybe that's a different video, maybe even another channel. Russia is now, according to Igor, effectively devoid of Canadians. It's kind of like a donut if expats were the Timbits. And I would imagine it would be pretty lonely.
Because when that situation happened with Crimea in 2014, foreigners started leaving Russia by big numbers, and Canadian community is dead.
Russian-Canadian relations have never been really warm, but in 2014, when Russia moved into Crimea and the Canadian government took a hard stand, Russian-Canadian relations went from lukewarm to frigid cold, almost rock-solid frozen. Canada's ambassador was recalled and Canadian companies all but ceased operations. That's too bad. When Russia opened up to the West in the 90s, there was a lot of hope that Canada would do well. It didn't turn out that way. But Ed held on to a naive hope that things weren't this bad. One thing that we as Canadians really love is that for the most part we're fairly well liked abroad. So when I asked Igor about what the average Russian thinks about Canadians, I was disappointed.
I want to specify it and I want to highlight it. The general attitude to any Westerner in Russia now is very hostile.
So this video is not a warm and fuzzy feel-good video. But maybe that's okay, it's reality. Not all countries have successful or content Canadian expats. Not all countries are even welcoming to Canadians. It'd be nice if that were the case, but it isn't, and I guess we shouldn't expect that. Russian and Canadian relations will one day thaw a bit. When that does happen, I hope I have the opportunity to make another video, maybe with Igor or maybe with another Canadian expat. Thanks for watching. Until next time.